Hi everyone, my name is Lilah Sciaky and I'm a master's student at Columbia University. Today I'm presenting our research on a specific form of social influence, response facilitation, and the expression of stone handling or stone play behavior within dyads of Balinese long-tailed macaques. According to Fragazi and Perry, for behavior to qualify as culture, at least 4 criteria should be met. It should be a group-specific behavioral practice, present among several group members, persistent over time, and finally, the 4th criteria is probably the most important one. This behavioral practice should be dependent on social means for its transmission and maintenance. In other words, without some form of social learning or social influence, you can't have culture. The focus of our study was on this 4th criterion. This is a non-exhaustive list of mechanisms of social learning, or social influence, that can sustain the cultural transmission or maintenance of information, knowledge, and skills within a social group of individuals. And among all these mechanisms, we focused on response facilitation. Response facilitation is inferred when the observation of a demonstrator performing a behavior temporarily increases the probability that that observer will initiate the same behavior. This process, which is sometimes referred to as behavioral contagion or the neighbor effect, enhances the diffusion of specific actions that are either involuntary, reflexive, and unlearned, such as contagious yawning, or voluntary, more elaborate, and learned, such as synchronous foraging. Importantly, response facilitation leads to behavioral synchronization or coordination between group members, and thus favors the diffusion of social information at the group level. In this study, I focused on a form of object play frequently performed in a large group of free-ranging and provisioned Balinese long-tailed macaques. This behavior is known as stone handling and consists in the solitary, versatile, sequential, non-instrumental, and playful manipulation of stones, as illustrated in these videos. Stone handling is assumed to be a cultural behavior in Balinese long-tailed macaques because it meets at least 3 of the 4 criteria I listed before. It is a group-specific behavioral practice mainly observed in central Bali, where it is observed in individuals of all ages and sex classes, where it has been documented for several decades. However, until now, there is no empirical evidence that the transmission or maintenance of stone handling is socially influenced. The object of our study was to test whether the expression of stone handling was subject to response facilitation. Even though stone handling is an object play behavior that is performed in a solitary manner, with one individual focusing on their own stones, as illustrated here, stone handling is often performed in synchrony with other group members, either at the dyadic level, with 2 stone handlers playing at the same time, or at the polyadic level with a subgroup of stone handlers playing simultaneously. In this study, we tested dyadic response facilitation. My data collection protocol was broken down into 4 steps. First, I started video recording the initiator of a stone handling bout and I waited for a witness to approach. When a witness approached within 3 meters of this initiator, paused and looked at the initiator, this marked the T0, which was the start of a 5-minute post-witnessing observation in which the witness was the focal subject. If the witness started stone handling, I recorded the start and end of its stone handling bout. Finally, I conducted a 5-minute matched control observation in the same focal subject, generally the day after, at approximately the same time of day in the same area, but with no stone handler in the vicinity, and I recorded whether the subject performed stone handling, and if so, when and for how long. The main data analysis consistent in comparing the post-witnessing observations, or PWs, and the matched control observations, or MC. If the witness engaged in stone handling earlier during the PW than during their MC, or only during their PW, then the stone handling response was considered facilitated. If the witness engaged in stone handling earlier during the MC than during the PW, or only during the MC, then the stone handling response was considered delayed. And if the witness engaged in stone handling with the same timing during the PW and the MC, or did not engage in stone handling during the PW and during the MC, then the stone handling response was considered neutral. Here are 3 results that support the hypothesis that the expression of stone handling is socially influenced via response facilitation. First, when limiting our analysis to the 19 subjects that were involved in at least 2 pairs of post-witness match control bout, the number of dyads in which the stone handling response was facilitated was significantly larger than the number of dyads in which the stone handling response was either delayed or neutral. Second, we found a significant difference in the distribution of stone handling latency by the focal subject during the PW and MC observations, and the maximum difference in timing was reached at around 2 minutes. So the stone handling response facilitation mainly occurred within the first 2 minutes after witnessing stone handling. And third, when the focal subjects engaged in stone handling in both observations, it lasted 7 times longer during the PW period than during the match control observation. In other words, witnessing stone handling not only triggers stone handling earlier, but also increases its duration. By demonstrating that the expression of stone handling was socially mediated via response facilitation, at least at the dyadic level, we provided further support for the cultural nature of this object-directed play behavior in macaques. Future analysis will test the social influence in the expression of stone handling at the polyadic level, involving a subgroup of individuals. Thank you to our sponsors and colleagues in Bali, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.